Well, all right, you guys, as you can see, I am glad to have everybody on the line today. Great turnout. Good to see everybody. Thank you for attending the webinar today. If you look on your screen, all my information is right there on the screen. You can always contact me via email, luther@platinumrealestate.com. That's Luther, Luther, at platinumrealestate.com. That is my email address. You can also call or text me. Text is always best. And my phone number is 404-513-5677. That's 404-513-5677. If you have any questions, feel free to talk to me anytime. Well, let's get started. First of all, we do have career opportunities for you guys. So if you are not, I repeat, if you are not a member of Platinum Real Estate, would love to have you as a part of our Platinum Real Estate family. You can call us at 404-994-4600. That's 404-994-4600. Contact us anytime. Would love to speak to you about career opportunities. We have a great coaching program. We have a wonderful 100% program. We have multiple programs to help you succeed with your real estate business. The email address is careers@platinumrealestate.com. That's careers, that's with an S, at platinumrealestate.com. So please, ma'am, please, sir, if you're not a member of Platinum Real Estate, if you're not a part of the Platinum Real Estate family, would love to have you with the Platinum Real Estate family. And last but not least, you guys know we love education. So we have workshops, webinars. We have webinars just like this one. We have webinars, we have workshops, we have seminars. We always have a lot of great information just for you. The next workshop that's coming up is going to be on wealth building, how to buy, sell, list, and manage investment property. If you are a licensed real estate agent, you want to be at this workshop. Great workshop. It is free thanks to our sponsors. We have the Federal Bank, Miss Tamara Burch. We have a great inspector, Jocks Mountain from Dream Home Inspections. We have Mr. Leonard Medley from Medley and Associates. But our sponsors, because of our sponsors, it allows you to join this workshop absolutely 100% free, but you have to register. So we have a limited amount of free seats because of our great sponsors. So you can get a seat free, but you have to register at LutherRagsdale.com. Again, a full day workshop, 9 a.m. until 5:15 p.m. Real estate agents will receive 6 hours worth of CE credits for this powerful workshop, but you must register at LutherRagsdale.com. So please, ma'am, please, sir, get your seat. To all of my platinum agents that's out there, please register today and get your seat, because these workshops fill up very, very quickly. The seats don't last long. So please, ma'am, please, sir, please get your seat quickly. And the only way you can get a seat is LutherRagsdale.com. So today we are in for quite a treat, We have one of our, she's a sponsor, she's a partner, she's our preferred vendor. She's been with us for years. She handles the money, she handles the financing. Matter of fact, all of her information is on the screen. The best way to contact her is you can call her or text her, 770-896-5001. Again, let me repeat, Cell phone number. Best way to contact her is via cell. You can call or text her 770-896-5001. And those of you guys on the webinar, all of her information is right there on the screen. Excellent mortgage professional. She really helping our corporation. She had a great testimony in our last workshop that was sold out. It was people wall to wall. We could not get anybody else in the workshop, but she had a great testimony where she helped one of our platinum clients who has some credit issues, has some credit struggles, but she actually helped her to buy her first home, and now she is a home buyer. So that's what that thing is all about, you guys. Helping people, because as I always say, if you help somebody else, your business can grow, your finances will improve, money will not ever be a problem when you help somebody else. So that's what Miss Burch is out there doing, and I truly appreciate her partnership, her sponsorship, and all of the wonderful things that she's doing in the community. Miss Burch, are you here?
I am. Good afternoon, Luther. How you doing?
Good afternoon to you. I am doing very well, doing good. I'm excited to hear what you're going to be talking about today as well, because I think it's a huge subject to talk about investment loans. I mean, that is a really hot topic in the market right now.
Well, and it really segues to what you're going to be doing on February 1st. So this is great information. It'll kind of get you thinking about it so that when you show up at your event that you're putting on, it's just going to give you that much more knowledge to have more questions for you to really impact the ability for you to make 2020 a strong year.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Absolutely.
Well, just real quick, here's the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about owner-occupied multifamily. We're going to talk about conventional houses and multifamily lending. We're going to talk about ROI loans, debt service loans, apartment buildings, foreign nationals, and fix and flip lines of credit. So that'll really, if you decide you're going to make this an integral part of what you're doing in the community, know that after this webinar, feel free, text me all you want, go to my LinkedIn, give me a call, let's have a long-term conversation. You're not talking to somebody who doesn't own investment properties herself. That is a big part of my retirement plan, is my houses that I have. So I will be able to have that conversation with you, not only as a lender and money for your people, but also that I'm doing it myself. So when your customers are talking to me, they are speaking to somebody who is actually doing it themselves so that they can have a more informed conversation. So why don't we get started? How's that sound, Luther?
Yes, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay, so the one I want to spend the most amount of time on, and that's because we're getting this a lot, is owner-occupied multifamily, okay? And what that means is, and I'm going to give you the example that I gave. I recently had a customer who called me, and they've been turned down multiple times. They could only buy $40,000 house. That's all they could afford. And I asked the millennial, because it was a millennial, can you think outside the box? Are you okay, at least for 1 year, living in a multifamily? And he really thought about it. He's like, this might be an idea. Tell me more. So here's how this works. It is a primary residence that's income producing. Okay, so we are able to take and increase really basically their debt ratios. And we're able to do that by counting the income of the other 3 units that they're not going to live in, even if they're vacant. I did say that. even if they're vacant, I'm going to get the appraiser to give me a 1004 report that tells me what those properties would rent for, and I'm going to give them 75% of that income to help them qualify. So although he could only afford $40,000, he bought a $330,000 property because all of the income from the other 3 units paid for the house in its entirety and went towards some of his debt. So this is very, very powerful. And let me tell you, millennials, when they call me, not all, so let's never go all, but a lot of them want either downsizing, which is why we have so many properties at $500,000-$600,000 because they don't want them. But they also want to look at a property and they can envision somebody sharing a room with them or renting out the other side. And they look at it as an opportunity to grow their wealth as well as to live rent-free. So this is something you should be jumping all over because not that many realtors are going after this business. But when you have this type of conversation with the millennial or whoever for that matter, I did this with another customer who was 75 and he didn't want any payments in his retirement and he used a duplex and made the other person pay for him to live rent-free. So you have to think beyond just millennials per se, but it is very much a powerful, powerful tool. The debt ratios on this can actually go as high as 50%. Because we are using this, and I'm going to have you scroll up to debt ratios and low down payment. And because it's a primary residence, okay, they have to live in it 1 full year, but they can get an FHA loan or a VA loan. I did say that, a VA loan if they're a veteran. Most of you know I'm a VA expert because my husband's a disabled vet, so I do have the certification. So they can buy this property, use the income, and either put 3.5% down FHA or no down payment at all with VA, get into a property that somebody else is making their payments for them. That's powerful. That's very, very powerful. And as an agent, if you understand that, you can truly market this to bring in additional business this year. Hold on just a second. Can you hear me, Luther?
Yes, I can hear you. And let me mention this as well, you guys. Personally, let me just tell you guys my personal testimony. The first property I ever purchased was an owner-occupied duplex. I lived in one side and I rented out the other side. And at the upcoming workshop, I'm going to talk about that more, how I used a duplex. And matter of fact, I have used this strategy of an owner-occupied duplex. I have used it 2 different times in my life. Lived on one side, rented out the other side, have the other side basically paid the mortgage for me. Then when I moved out and purchased another home, I was then able to rent out both sides and I have cash flow. So this is a great strategy, and Tamara, I applaud you 100% for bringing this up and teaching this because it really helped me in my career.
And you know what, and it's helping millennials as well because a lot of these millennials have, unfortunately, I see it every day, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Yesterday I had one for $441,000 in student loan debt. Well, that's going to price them out of affording to buy a home, even if it's deferred, okay? So this opens up an opportunity for them to potentially buy a home. And if you go to a loan officer who doesn't understand this, they're never going to recommend it. It's because they just don't think outside that box. And Luther's right. Not only do you get into the home, but a year later, should you wish to move into a house and call that owner-occupied, you can get another house then and it's owner occupied. But if you buy a quad, that means you literally just bought 4 potential income producing properties in one. Easy to manage. So if you go buy a house after, they've got 4, and that is income for life if they keep it and get it paid off. You're talking about a permanent retirement that they're going to receive money on. Even if you have to put, an investment in it yearly to fix it up or what have you, you're still producing income, and someone else paid off that loan. Where are you going to get that? That's like taking a 401k and getting a match. So, it is something you definitely should be looking into for your customers, because they're going to appreciate you mentioning it. Maybe it isn't for them, but you mentioned it, so you look like the out-of-the-box thinker. So it's definitely going to be good for you. Some restrictions on this, okay? So it can't be run down. FHA is not going to let you, VA is not going to let you buy a rundown property. That's not happening. So normally I would do like a 203K or a home path where I'm going to fix up the property. You can't do that on these, okay? So they cannot be a rundown property. They have to be in good working order. The benefits of this, we've discussed the number one, cash flow. Luther's got it dead on. Cash flow. You're talking about income coming in, and if they're smart and they make their payment themselves, then they've got all this cash flow coming to either buy a new property and expand on their generational wealth, or they are living rent-free while they're trying to get themselves established in their career. Time frame, same as any loan, 30 days or less. VA is still a little behind, but not much. So you're still looking at 30 days to close on one of these loans. And, the only other restriction, and I apologize, I'm going to go back up a dot there, is one of the units must be either A, vacant, or B, they're going to move out and be month to month, and they'll move out within 30 days. So they could buy a property and not move in that day, but they're going to need to move in within 30 days. At no time do you want someone saying that they're going to buy this as owner occupied and then move in. So I had a call a couple days ago. They had a house, maybe not even a mile away from this quad. They wanted to buy the quad, and they said, well, we're going to do it owner occupied. You're not getting away with that. That's not happening. But I did have another customer where they were moving from New York and they're moving here, and they wanted to know, could they buy a quad owner occupied? And the answer to that is yes. Even though they're leaving a house behind in New York, you could, because it's more than 100 miles away. Okay, so something to kind of consider. You don't want to be playing with that mortgage fraud. We definitely want to know that this is owner occupied. And some people will do better with a duplex than they're going to do with a quad. Quad, as I remind each of the customers, that is, and I'm sure Luther will say about this, that is going to be 4 hot water heaters, 4 air conditionings, for 4 of everything, that if something happens, they need to have a reserve sitting there, because you're not talking about a house with 1 air conditioning unit. You're talking about a property potentially with 4 different units. So that is something they need to keep in mind. Somebody who's month to month and can barely pay anything, it may not be as great an option for them. What do you think on that, Luther?
You know what? Listen. If you have a client, or if you're doing it yourself, the cash flow, I always say the cash flow will provide. I remember back in the day, I bought 6 units and I had nothing. When I say nothing, I had nothing. And I purchased the property with absolutely no money down. I had no reserves. I had no capital. All I had was a job, and my job was risky. It was iffy. But indeed,
those the days. Those were the days when we could do 100%. We all miss those days.
Yeah, and my point is, when I was looking for my owner-occupied investment, I was always looking for quads. Now, the property that I wanted to purchase for myself, I was looking for quads. I found the ideal duplex. So the first time I did an owner-occupied investment, It was a duplex. It wasn't a quad. It would have been a quad if I could have found it. But I found a beautiful duplex right around the corner from where I was living. It was perfect. I was loving it. At the time, I wanted to stay close to home because I was so young. I was that new millennial, but back in the day, 30 years ago, they didn't call us new millennials. But I was a new millennial. I wanted to stay close to home. So literally, is I bought my duplex right up the street from from where I was living. What's my point? Every deal is going to be different. So I don't want you guys to think, hey, I got to have capital. I have to have money, because when you buy a deal like this, I can show you how to be successful. Even if you don't have the reserves, even if you don't have the capital, you can still be successful. Matter of fact, February the 1st, I'm going to teach you several strategies on how you can purchase property with no money down. You do not need your income, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in a couple of weeks on February the 1st.
Very exciting. Yes, very, very exciting. Well,
now, I have one question.
Do you have any questions here before we leave this area? Because
yes,
we're going to move on to the next section.
Yes, I have somebody who have chimed in, and I'm looking at our chats here. The agent says, Tamara, what's the maximum amount of units that I can qualify if I am doing owner-occupied?
1. Oh, if you mean like duplex or quad, then it's a quad. Anything after 4 is commercial. But if it's owner occupied, you can buy a duplex, a triplex, or a quad, but you can only buy 1. The only way you're getting a second one was my example of the lady in New York who's coming here this weekend to buy a property. Now she can do that because she's moving more than 100 miles for her job. You can't buy one in downtown Atlanta and then turn around and buy one in Cobb County and call it owner occupied. That is too close in proximity to get away with that.
But here's the question. Let me help you, because I think I have the answer here. And in Tamara's defense is she's not seeing the question. The question says, what's the maximum amount of units that I can qualify for? Answer, you guys, and this is very important, but that y'all understand this. Okay? Owner-occupied investment, the maximum amount of units you can qualify for is 4. 4 is the maximum. Now, once we go to unit number 5, we are looking at commercial. Okay? So 1 unit, single-family home, that's a single-family home, right? We are talking about owner-occupied. So we are talking about an owner-occupied investment, which means real estate agents, or if you're on the line and you're coming to the workshop and you want to understand owner-occupied investment, we are talking about 2 units duplex, 3 units quadruplex, 4 units, 2 units duplex, 3 units triplex, 4 units quadruplex. So owner-occupied investment, we are looking at 2, 3, or 4 units. The answer to your question, the maximum amount of units you can do is 4. That's it. You cannot do 5 units and call it owner-occupied investment. All right? 2, 3, or 4 units. That's the focus. All right, Tamara?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, and that is the answer.
There we go. Good. Okay. Oh, and there you go. Next.
Okay. There we go. So I get this question all the time. Okay. How many properties, not quads, how many total properties can I buy before I have to look at alternative lending? And we're going to cover a little bit on alternative lending. If we don't get to all of it, we may do another presentation, or I will definitely be at Luther's thing, and then that way you could come up and talk to me as well, and I'll bring some information. But the number of properties that you can do combined Fannie and Freddie is going to be 10 total properties, not 10 units, meaning if a quad you're counting as 4 and then a house that's 5. No, 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 that's 2. A house and a quad equals 2, okay? So under conventional housing, the number, you need to go back a slide, Luther. So the total number we can do is 10. Now, most people, and here's, see, I own rental property, so I have this kind of a conversation with them, and they're trying to buy multiple properties over their time frame. I say, listen, buy your primary residence together, husband, wife, whatever. You want to own it together, own it together. If it's a strong relationship, then you buy 9 houses in the husband's name, 9 houses in the wife's name, and then therefore you have the ability to add more than a total of 10. Now, most people are looking for 10 or less to own as part of their portfolio for retirement. Not as many people are 20, 30, whatever, but that is an alternative way to get more. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, when you start to head away from conventional, more down payment, higher interest rates, conventional is going to keep you at Fannie Mae rates. Debt ratios are very lenient with Fannie Mae, 50%, and I'm going to count the property itself and the income it's producing. One question I know that's going to come our way, if they're buying a house and it's investment, do I get to count the future income? Yes, you absolutely get to count that for your debt ratio. You can count 75% of that future income. So it's a great way to buy houses with a less down payment. So you can get 15% down with mortgage insurance or 20% without. So that's really going to depend on whether you're trying to buy more properties and use your capital. I know Luther's going to show you an alternative, but if you're trying to hold on to your capital and buy all your properties so that they start paying it down and paying it off and get the mortgage insurance stopped after a period of time, then you may want to go with the 15% versus the 20%. I don't assume that. So when I'm talking to your customer, I'm going to give them both payments and the amount. And sometimes they go, that's so tiny, I'm going to hold on to my 5%. Okay, great. You can use that to buy more houses. Or maybe they don't have enough to put 20% down. They can do the 5% down. And under this, you can also ask the sellers to pay up to 3% of the closing costs. So that's also going to help keep their costs lower. We are looking typically 640 credit score. The more properties they start adding, we're going to jump it to 680. So what they're doing is they want to know that this person can manage this many properties. Do they have the ability to manage it? Are they going to get into a situation where they have, like before you didn't need reserves. Now you're going to need 2 months reserves for each of these properties. And as the more properties you get, you'll climb to 6 months reserves. But to take these properties basically and buy a total of 10, one probably being your primary, you would then have 9 income producing properties before you have to look at any type of alternative. And if the property gets paid off by the time you're ready to buy the next property, then that property no longer counts. It is only those homes that you have a loan on. So if you are able to take the ROI from the other properties and pay down a loan quicker, then you could potentially go on to the next property in line and add a new loan. So that is something to consider as well. This is a great way for you to, and as a realtor, keep in mind, you get one customer and they love you and you're showing them all kinds of property. You already know everything about that customer. You're not trying to go find another customer. You're building a network of investors who may buy 3 houses a year. So that is, 3 additional customers for you from one customer who's going to keep buying property from you as they find what they're looking for. And the conventional route is going to be a great route to go. What kind of questions do you have for me on this, Luther? Luther, can you hear me?
Yes, I have a question. Not on this, but I have a question. Here's the question. It says, hey, Tamara, are you familiar with self-directed IRAs? I'm interested in buying a duplex and I have funds in a self-directed IRA. Can I use these funds or is that not allowed?
That's a great question. One I'm getting more and more of. There are some IRAs that let you do exactly that. So you need to contact the company who's managing your IRA, where you then don't even maybe need a loan. Now, I do have people who use their 401ks and their IRAs to put their down payment on the properties and then pay off their 401ks and IRAs, because that interest, typically half of it's going back to them. So it's a great source for them. But if your IRA doesn't allow you to do it, I say personally, go find one that will and transfer your money over to the new IRA company, which you have the right to do. Because if you're going to use this to build wealth, then you want a financial company who's going to help you do that. So that is a fantastic question. Absolutely. If they don't do it, do the research and find one that's going to let you do exactly what you want to do. It's your money.
And let me say this too, real estate agents, I have helped a lot of investors. They have taken money out of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, IRAs, you name it, and they have invested in real estate, and I've showed them how to increase their ROI and how real estate is a much better investment than stocks, bonds, mutual funds, having your money in a checking account, having your money in a savings account, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, Tamara's very, she's 100% right. IRAs is a great avenue. And I'm talking to real estate agents now and your clients, okay? I have had clients who have said, hey, I want to invest in real estate. Can I use stocks, bonds, mutual funds? I have money in a checking account. I have money in the savings account. Luther, show me how to use this money to invest in real estate because I want a higher return on investment. One of the things we are going to cover February 1st, we're going to talk about how to analyze the deal. Very, very important how you analyze the deal. I used to sit down with investors and I could analyze a deal and I can say, right now you are getting this type of return on investment, but if you take that money and you put it into real estate, I can double your return on investment. So instead of getting 3%, 4%, 2% in your checking account, let's put it into real estate and I can show you how to have a minimum of a 33% return on investment your first year. Yes, I said that. Write that down, 33% return on investment your first year. And while I said that, I have a question here, and I have quite a few questions here, but I have a question.
And Luther, with that being said, keep in mind, we are having record stock, right? Okay, so we're seeing our portfolios rise. That is not going to continue forever. So if you start to really understand this now as a realtor and you go to his training and you really start to learn this, maybe call me, have questions, let's talk about it, and you start to make this your niche, one of your niches, those investors who's made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market, they are going to start looking for alternatives that still give them a 10, 15, 20% return, because now they're either negative in the stock market or they're 1 or 2%. And Luther can back this up. They're going to start looking at real estate because rents are rising in Atlanta. If you are here in Atlanta or anywhere else, maybe you're from somewhere else on this call, rents are going up. I think we hit #1 for the highest increase in a 90-day period. So they are going to look at other places to place their money.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, a couple more quick questions. I have somebody here saying, Luther, how do you purchase a property with no money down? I haven't seen it. You know what? If you're a platinum agent and you've been with me for years, you know that obviously this is not a platinum agent that have been with me for years. This concept forever and ever and ever and ever. I'm not going to go into it now because I have a lot of other questions and time and slides. But let me say this. If you doubt me, come on the first. I guarantee you, you will walk away with 100% knowledge on how I have personally done it and how I can teach you how to do it. Do you need money? No. Do you need credit? No. Do you have to have knowledge? Absolutely yes. Next question. Does the Tamara, does the 10 loan cap apply to VA as well? So the 10 loan cap that you just talked about, this person is saying, does this apply to VA as well? So can I have VA as one of the 10 loans, or can I have 11 loans if I have VA as well? So how does VA work with the 10 loan cap?
That's a great question. Fantastic question. As we all know, with VA, typically you can only have one VA loan. Now, that's not always the case. If you get moved from California to Atlanta, then you could potentially have 2 VA loans at the same time. So keep that in mind. That is something I get very in depth with your VA borrowers about. Okay. Anybody on the call, thank you for your service. If you have been in the service, I really appreciate my freedom. Now, yes, it's in the total 10. So what conventional is saying is they're going to look and see 10 mortgaged properties, whether that's VA, FHA, or Fannie Freddie. They're looking at a total of 10, if that answered your question.
Absolutely. Very good. Okay, let's jump back on here. Types of properties.
Yes, so let's take a look at this. So what one of the things that we have added is ROI loans and debt service loans. Now, I'm going to be there with Luther, and I will bring with me, if you come, some actual paperwork that I'm going to hand out. So I'm going to bring 100 of them with me. So the first 100 people will get a copy of it. And it's all self-explanatory, but of course you're able to ask me questions, but it's going to be all nice and typed out for you for anybody who wants it. But this is, I get this call all the time, I can't debt ratio for anything. Well, and maybe what it is they're self-employed and they're writing off and they've got a $20,000 negative income. I don't know who's doing their taxes, but I need to call them to do mine. And so they just don't qualify for those properties. Even though the property's making money, they're so far upside down in their other obligations, they need to look at our alternatives. So we're going to look at ROI loans and debt service loans. But Tamara, you work for a bank. That's okay. The bank does these loans, okay? So an ROI loan or a debt service loan is going to be based more on the property than on the borrower's income, okay? We are looking at duplexes, we're looking at quads, we're looking at houses, we're looking at the types of the borrower, we're going to be looking at businesses, as well as individuals. So a business, so this is going to go pretty good with what Luther's going to teach you. So you come on February 1st, you're going to be so glad you got this piece of paper, because businesses can buy houses using the ROI loans and the debt service loans and close them in the LLC. Yep, said that. Boy, I feel like it's 2007 all over again. Close them in the LLC. Okay, now the qualifications for this are basically going to be, you have to have good credit. We're going to be looking at a 640 credit for anybody, and the loan amounts for us are going to be $75,000 to $2 million. So you could even do this on some $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 properties. You're going to be able to do this. The difference is you're not putting down 15%. You're going to put down at least 20. If your credit score is on the low end, you're going to put down 25%. Okay. The time frame for this is also going to be a little bit more. You're going to be looking about 45 days on these, okay, instead of 30 days on these. Although I've got an amazing team and they really push the loans through. So those girls are just unbelievable. So they will move very, very quickly, but at the same time, these are going to be a little bit more complex. Our requirement is they're looking for more assets. You know, we're going to be looking at 6 months of assets on this. So that's going to be one of the things, but they don't have to debt ratio to get these types of loans. That means that the property itself can sustain the payment at 75%. So if the property can sustain that payment of 75%, then this is, and they've got a 640 credit score, they're going to be closing as long as the collateral is good. Okay, if it's not good, we can't do it. And I get this call a lot. Tamara, can I do non-warrantable condos? No, I think that's the main restriction. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4 units. This is not commercial, okay, not commercial. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and it's an unbelievable program. And I'm going to say this too. I know it's coming up on the next screen, but we can do this for foreign nationals. So I'm working with a customer who lives in China. He doesn't live here in the United States, and he doesn't have to. He's not a U.S. citizen, and he's buying properties in a corporation and using the ROI to close this loan. So I'm going to bring these with me on February 1st. So if you want one, approach me. I'll have them. I'll pass it out to you. Any questions on this section? Because I know we're running out of time, and I definitely want to talk about the next two as well.
Yes, I have a question here. Somebody's saying, listen, and I think I can answer this. This one's kind of more towards me, and it's coming from one of my agents, and she's so great. But she's asking me this, Luther, I'm an agent. I want to represent myself, of course. If I purchase a property, with that being said, can I use my commission towards the down payment? And the answer is not only yes, but you should, okay? And there's creative ways we can do that. But I just want to answer this question. The answer is yes. At Platinum Real Estate, we actually encourage that. I actually show you how to do it. If you are a licensed real estate agent and you are purchasing property for yourself, yes, when you close that deal and you earn a commission, you can do that. And that's an excellent question. Very, very smart question. And I know there's brokers out there that, you know, frown on investment property. They frown on agents buying investment property. They frown on investors altogether. I am an investor. I built my wealth by investing in properties. So I encourage it. I teach it, and I actually want you to do that. So excellent question, and the answer is yes. Okay. Hey, I'm like you, Tamara. I want to make sure we get through this information. So let's push on. Qualification,
Okay.
time frame. Where are we at, Tamara?
We're actually going to move on to foreign nationals, but you can see on the screen at all times it has my phone number there. So if for some reason we want you there so we can have a one-on-one, but you can't make it and you want this paperwork on anything I'm speaking about, I'm gonna give it to Luther and he's gonna put it up on his site. But at the same time you text me, you will have this paperwork today, a breakdown of all of what I'm saying today, and a nice easy format for you to be able to look at so you can have an intelligent conversation with your customers. Simply send me a text and with your email, and out it'll go today to you. Okay, so feel free. Phone number top right. So let's. I apologize. It looks like our next one. I'm out of order myself. Ha ha ha. Apartment.
We're there.
I'm sorry.
We're there. Foreign nationals.
Okay, well, foreign nationals, perfect, let's do it. So you get a call and everybody tells you, you can't do this, you can't do this. Now this is for investment only. Yes, I do have the tax ID for somebody who lives here in the United States that doesn't have a social security number. I have that. That's not what I'm talking about, and we're not on that today because we're doing investment property. That's an owner occupied tax ID number closing, and we can do those here at the bank. Okay, what I'm talking about is a foreign national. This is somebody who's buying investment property who is not a U.S. citizen. They want to buy property here in the United States, and they're typically buying this under an LLC, most likely. They probably have a partner. Sometimes I see like a real estate agent who's the partner, or somebody who owns a company who's a partner, and they want to buy up property, and they may live in Taiwan, they may live in China, they may live, somewhere else, but they're buying property in the United States simply as investment for their future. That's what this is, okay? They can absolutely do it. They will put down 25%. They will probably have no U.S. credit, and that's fine too. It's not required that they have U.S. credit, okay? Debt ratios up to 50% on these. We don't have any loan amounts below 75. That doesn't mean find a property and then put 25% down on 75,000. No, no, no. The minimum purchase price is going to be 100 minimum. And I'll tell you, if you get good at these, they're actually buying $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses. That's the calls I get. They're typically 300-400 is the calls I get for these. So, they're buying a higher price tag. So if you're doing any social media marketing, this is something you should be marketing out there. There is no limit. Where we had 10, we could only do 10 under conventional. We're going to have unlimited properties that they can do, okay? And then we will close this in the LLC. If they own other homes, okay, and they decide they want to cash out to buy the next one, which you should always be looking at. I'm always looking at that. Hey, you could pull out $100,000 and go buy another one. Why? Because that gives you the opportunity to sell another home. So I'm going to take a look at that in the overall picture for them, and I will advise them, we need to cash this one out, do a foreign national cash out on this, and then go ahead and get you there. So just kind of keep in mind, you want more information on this, I have it all written up for you nice and neat. I'm happy to email it to you. Simply send me a text when we hang up here. Any questions, Luther? I know we're running out of time and we've got apartment building to get to, or I don't think we covered apartments. Luther? Okay, I'm gonna go and move on to apartment buildings because we only got about 5 more minutes. So I'm gonna be really quick on the next two. Phone number top right, you can get all of these sent to you in one packet today. So the apartment buildings, we can do loan amounts 1 million to 7.5 million. You're like, wow, what's the commission on that? Exactly. You need to know that if you have somebody, an investor, they are also going to be looking at apartment buildings, and you need to know you can get those closed, okay? We'll do up to a 30-year amortization on something like that. We're typically looking at loan amounts between 1 million and 7.5 million. I'm really not your apartment complex that's 60,000. That's not me. Okay, I'm going to be definitely taking a look at the debt service. I'm happy to send that to you so you have it in writing. I won't go in great length on that. We do go as low as 80% loan to value. That's awesome for an apartment building. Typically, they're going to be making money right away. We'll also go down to a 650 credit score. You got to be kidding. Really? Yep, 650 credit score. Okay, now one of my caveats with this is I'm looking for a 90% occupancy on these units, okay? 90%. That's what I'm kind of looking at. I'm not looking at the vacant properties. We are going to escrow for taxes and insurance on these, kind of a little thing there, but I cover that with your clients. If not, then they're going to have to put down 35% because I have to know that they're taking care of the property and we're not going to have a foreclosure in the future. So again, these are all nice, concise flyers that I have for you. Send me a text. You're going to get all of them at once. I'm not going to pick and choose. I'm going to send you everything we're talking about today, and I'm going to bring them with me on the 1st. So I really quickly want to cover the fix and flip because I know we only have about 2 more minutes left. So what is a fix and flip? A fix and flip is a line. Now, I'm going to say this. If you can do the conventional, do that first. Okay, do that first. But a fix and flip, and you'll get a small line if you're just getting started. But if you can show a history of buying and flipping properties, you might end up with a $5 million line. Okay, we give out up to $5 million lines. But if you are just getting started, you may only get like a $200,000-$300,000 line. But it'll get you something to get you started, and then we can look at how you manage the line and then increase your line. And believe this or not, my minimum credit score is 600. Wow. Yes, I did say 600. Okay. So these rates range. I'm not going to get into interest rates on here, but we're going to be looking at either a business can get the line or an individual. So if you have investors and you need to go pay cash for a property, they do on the first one. The first one you need to do at a 30-day sign because they're going to go through the process, make sure they're knowing what they're doing, and it's not going to be super quick on their very first one. But once they're managing that line, it'll be a whole different story. And then we validate the line again, every 12 months if they need to increase it. But you cannot put commercial properties, co-op properties, or manufactured housing on this. So this is not for the apartments. You're going to need to do the apartment loan instead, but you can do condos, multifamily 2 to 4 units. Now I will tell you, I know we call it commercial and I'm totally contradicting myself, but you can put a 5-unit on the line and not call it commercial. We're not going to call it commercial for the line. But once you exceed the 5, though, we're going to call that commercial and call it an apartment building. So that's pretty much it. So I wanted to clarify one more thing. I said an individual can get up to 5 million, but a corporation with me can get up to 10 million. Yep. I said $10 million. So imagine you find an investor who wants to buy and you help them get a $10 million line. How many properties are they going to buy from you? Literally start thinking about that. You just have made your year. If you find maybe 5 or 10 of these people, you're going to have a very excellent 2020. A very excellent 2020. Okay, so again, phone number right there in the top right. You want these all sent to you. Oh, now it's in the center. You want these all sent to you. Simply send me a text or email me. Email's fine. I need your email address and they'll go to you today. And then if you want to have a longer conversation, you're welcome to text me and I will call you. Just keep in mind, I will tell you, I see about 30 texts already. So just keep in mind, I'll be a little delayed today in returning all these calls, but I'm happy to chat with you as long as you need me to.
Okay, very good. Hey, everybody, really quick. Couple things to keep in mind. Number 1, do not forget if you are a licensed real estate agent and if you are not a member of Platinum Real Estate, we would love to sit down and speak with you. All of the information is right there on the screen. Phone number 404-994-4600. Again, 404-994-4600 for career opportunities. Also, do not forget, we have a wealth building workshop, February the 1st, 9 a.m., 5:15 p.m. Full day workshop, absolutely free. Thanks to our sponsors, Medley and Associates, Tamara Burch, and on and on. We have a lot of great sponsors, and they have sponsored this workshop so you can attend 100% free. But I have limited seats, and you must register. How do you register? Go to my website, LutherRagsdale.com, and register for this upcoming workshop. Now, in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about, on the next webinar, we are going to talk about prospecting. And I'm going to have a little twist to it. I'm going to talk about prospecting for residential, but I'm also going to talk about prospecting for investors, prospecting for investment properties. So is if you want to focus on investors, if you want to purchase some properties for yourself, I'm going to show you how to prospect and how to find those properties. So 2 weeks, mark your calendar right here at the webinar. In 2 weeks, we are going to talk about prospecting as well as prospecting for investment property right here in 2 weeks. Ms. Burch, thank you very much as always.
Oh, thank you for your time, Luther. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 1st. And like I said, I will bring this as a packet for anybody that wants it. And then I'm going to be there pretty much most of the day. So catch me at the breaks and let's have a chat and see how we can take your 2020 to the best year you've ever had.
All right, Tamara, thank you very much. Great job as always. I truly appreciate our partnership. So you guys, really quick, a couple of things. 2 weeks right here at the webinar, we are going to be talking about prospecting and how to prospect for residential properties as well as for residential properties, as well as how to prospect to get investment properties and how to prospect to get investors as clients. One investor can literally make your year. I remember back when I was an agent, I would prospect for investors. One investor would buy 6, 7, 9 properties, and that could literally make my year. So please, ma'am, please, sir, in 2 weeks at that webinar, talking about prospecting, not only for residential listings, we all have heard that, but I'm going to also talk about prospecting for investment properties to buy for yourself, prospecting for investors, because one investor that buys multiple properties can literally take care of you for the entire year. I do have a question here, Luther. Where on the site do I register? Go to LutherRagsdale.com. When you go to LutherRagsdale.com, it's under the events tab. When you click on the events tab, it will have Luther Ragsdale's Wealth Building Workshop. Make sure that you register. I want to be very clear. I have a limited amount of free seats. So the seats are free, but you must register. When the seats are gone, obviously they are gone. All right. Hey, you guys, I like to start on time and end on time. If you have questions, feel free. Shoot me an email, luther@platinumrealestate.com. Again, if you have any type of questions, you can contact me directly. All my information is there on the screen. Luther@platinumrealestate.com. All right. You guys, thank you everybody for your time. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, Tamara Burch. As always, wonderful job. And I look forward to personally meeting everybody on February the 1st. Thank you, and may God bless you. Have a good one.